Hi everyone, welcome to the first video about Mass Effect 4 theories, and what better way to start off than to find out if the protagonist in the next Mass Effect game is in fact Shepard's child. That's right, you heard correctly. There is rumour abound on the internet that the main character in the next Mass Effect game is none other than the child of Shepard. With this, it can work with either FemShep or BroShep, with both having at the very least a few romantic partners during the first 3 games to bring a potential Shep child into the universe. But for this theory to have any validity, it will depend on a few things. If recent news about the game being set in the Andromeda Galaxy is true, it would take a hell of a long time for any child of Shepard to actually travel there, let alone find planets to colonise and complete other such tasks. Rumour suggests that the next game in the series could be set at least a few hundred years after the final events of Mass Effect 3, thus quashing any chance of child of Shepard being the main character in Mass Effect 4, but it doesn't rule out the possibility of a distant relative being the main protagonist. Throughout the game, you have an abundance of choice in terms of romantic interests, but when each of the games has reached its conclusion, there is absolutely no mention of or evidence that FemShep herself or any of the female romance options being pregnant at the end of the games. If this were to be a viable option for the next Mass Effect game that the developers at BioWare were seriously considering, they would have at the very least hinted at it during the span of 3 full games and added DLC. But with no mention at all, it yet again puts another nail in the coffin of this theory. As most of you know by now, if you make certain choices, or don't in some cases, then a fair chunk of your squad dies during the duration of the Mass Effect trilogy. This would obviously lessen the amount of choices you have to have a Shep child. Take my Mass Effect 3 run through for example. I romanced Miranda in Mass Effect 2, but when I got to meet her in the 3rd game, because I didn't realise I could meet her and offer her help in later visits to the Citadel, she later died rescuing her sister Ori from her tyrannical father. In this one example alone, I lost a potential mother to my BroShep baby, and this can happen with all but a couple of your romantic options in the games. Also, depending on your choice of ending in Mass Effect 3 and you playing as FemShep, your character dies if you choose Control or Synthesis, and unless you get a good enough EMS score through playing the multiplayer and getting all your war assets, it's assumed that you die if you pick the Destroy ending too. So in conclusion, do we think that it's possible for a child of Shepard to be the main protagonist in the Mass Effect 4 game? Simply, no. We think that if the game is set in the Andromeda Galaxy, then it would be too far in the future for any kind of relative of Shepard to be the main protagonist in the game. We also think, due to BioWare in the past saying that they completely finished with the Shepard story arc, we think this would also tie into any child of Shepard as well. There could have been a few more examples that I could have discussed, but I felt these 3 were the more prominent cases to debunk this theory. But what do you think? Do you think that it's possible for a Shep child to be the main character in the next Mass Effect game? Let us know in the comments below. Also, let us know the best and worst theories you've heard of to do with the next Mass Effect game, and if we like it enough, we'll make a video about it and credit you with bringing it to our attention. Thanks for watching, subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all things Mass Effect, and help the channel to grow by sharing the video too. We'll see you again very, very soon.